worried about the new process of Cognizant that is for Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate? So, in continuation with the last video about the process of Gen Z Next, let us see the process of Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate. So, need not to worry about anything. I'll be giving you some simple tips and the process which you need to follow for the Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate. First and foremost thing which we see when we go for the campus recruitment is eligibility criteria. Let us see what is the eligibility criteria of the Cognizant is. Eligibility criteria will be same for all the process. It can be for Gen Z Next, Gen Z Pro or Gen Z Elevate. So each and every points which are mentioned on the eligibility criteria on the screen will be considered for the Cognizant. So let us see this eligibility criteria now. So eligibility criteria is BE, BTech, MTech, MCA, MSc, IT students who are passing out in the year 2022. And the branches which are eligible to apply for Cognizant is CSC, EC, EEE, IT, Electronics, Telecommunication Engineering, Information Science Engineering and allied branches. If the students from core branches, for example, Aeronautical, Mechanical, Civil, are good with the coding skills, they are also eligible to apply for the Cognizant. So that can be for any process, Gen Z Next, Gen Z Pro, Gen Z or Gen Z Elevate. Coming to the next point of the eligibility criteria, students should process 60% throughout the academics. Throughout the academics means starting from SSC to the last sem of the UG, you need to maintain 60% or equivalent CGPA. And coming to the backlogs, you should not have any backlogs when you are attempting an exam. For example, you are applying for the Cognizant in the Superset, you need to maintain zero backlog while filling the application form in the Cognizant. That is in the Superset platform. And your percentage conversion will be completely depend upon your university. So whatever the percentage conversion which is given by the university, that percentage conversion from percentage to the CGPA will be considered by the Cognizant. And opportunities are open for all the Indians. So this is about the eligibility criteria. Let's see the student information. Student information means when you are going to attend an interview or while registering, what are the main mandatory documents which are needed for the Cognizant. So you can see all the list on the screen and you can eventually take all the documents while you're attending the interview, while you're registering for the Cognizant. So next coming to the profile information. So here specifically we are talking about Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate. So Gen Z and Gen Z Elevates are two different profiles. So when you are applying for Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate, you need to apply only for one role. So that can be for Gen Z or that can be for Gen Z Elevate. If the candidate is applying for both, then your profile will be rejected. So you have to keep this in mind and then according to your flexibility, you have to apply whether you wanted to go for Gen Z or you wanted to go for Gen Z Next. And if you're a new user, see, once you wanted to get registered for the Cognizant, you need to create a profile in the Superset. If you're a new user, you have to register yourself in the Superset. And if you have already registered in the Superset, since you have applied for the Gen Z Next, here you can simply apply for the option of Gen Z or Gen Z Elevate if you're already registered with the Superset. So this is the second point. Coming to the third point, there are many profiles which got rejected in the Gen Z Next. The reason is you might have not completed your profile correctly. You might have not given your name and date of birth correctly as per the 10th mark sheet. So you need to maintain all this detail correctly if you wanted to apply and if you don't want to get rejected by the Cognizant. Also, you have to declare your gaps. For example, if you have a gap, after intermediate, if you have a gap of 1 year, you need to mention that you have 1 year of gap. If you have a gap after 10th, between intermediate, you have to mention that you have 1 year gap. Gap of 1 year is allowed after the completion of the course, but in between the course, you should not have any gaps. For example, if you have a gap between inter first year and second year, that gap cannot be considered by the Cognizant. So gaps are allowed, but then it should be after the completion of the course. And all the communication from the Cognizant will be sent to the TPO of the college. From the TPO, all the details which are required for you to write the exam or required for you to take the registration details, all this will be communicated by your TPO only. So the medium to get in touch with a Cognizant is your TPO. And what options does CTS offer? I have already told you that there are four options which CTS is offering. First one is Gen C with a package of 4 lakhs. And the next role is Gen C Elevate with a package of 4 lakhs per annum plus skill bonus. And the third role is Gen C Pro with a package of 5.4 lakhs per annum, and the Gen Z Next with a package of 6.7 lakhs per annum. So Gen Z Next is already done. We are not talking about the Gen Z Next. Here we are talking and we are focusing only on the process of Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate. So let us see in detail about the Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate. So coming to the Gen Z Elevate role, what are the roles which Cognizant is offering you to apply? That is advanced application development, cyber security, IoT, data analytics, cloud, and quality engineer. And the roles which you can see under the Gen Z are application development and maintenance, infrastructure engineer, and the testing. So these are the three roles which are offered under the profile of the Gen Z. So each and every student need to select their role while applying for the Gen Z or Gen Z Elevate. This is about the Gen Z Pro profile. So here Gen Z Pro profile is nothing but a product. So whatever the roles which you can see on the screen, if your expertise or if you have already certified with this role, you can apply for the Gen Z Pro profile. Otherwise, you're not eligible to apply for the profile of Gen Z Pro. And next, coming to the campus selection process, you can see on the screen. And right now, we are focusing on Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate. So registration for the Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate is starting from 21st August to 30 August 2021, and the date of exam for the Gen Z is 4th September 2021, and the date of exam for Gen Z Elevate is 11th September 2021. And the Gen Z Next is already done, and the dates for the Gen Z Pro profile is not yet announced. And now let us see the complete process, how Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate are considered. The first point which you can see is under the Gen Z Elevate, they are having some eligibility criteria. For example, they're considering only circuit branches to apply for the Gen Z Elevate. And coming to the Gen Z, all branches are allowed to take the test for the Gen Z. If you are applying for Gen Z Elevate, the first process is you need to take skill-based assessment. And if you are clearing the skill-based assessment, you will be sent for the technical and HR discussion. So this is the interview round. So if you are clearing this technical and HR, you will get an offer of Gen Z Elevate. And if you could not clear the technical and HR round of the Gen Z Elevate, still you have a chance to get an offer for the Gen Z. Coming to the Gen Z process, it is a simple process and you will be having level of difficulty very easy. Whatever the questions you get, that will be very simple and you can attempt it very easily. And coming to the Gen Z process, first you have to take an aptitude test. So if you are clearing an aptitude test, you have to go through technical and HR round. So once you're done with this technical and HR round, you will get an offer from the Cognizant with a package of 4 lakhs per annum with a profile as Gen Z offer. So this is about the Gen Z and Gen Z Elevate process. And coming to the topics, you can see on the screen how it will be. So for the Gen Z Elevate, you need to attempt the first round, that is skill-based assessment. In the skill-based assessment, you will be having multiple choice questions and the coding questions. And for the multiple choice question, that is for the section 1, you will be given 40 minutes of time where the questions will be equal to 20 to 25. And the questions types will be conceptual and the code analysis. And coming to the section 2, that is coding questions, that will be on the programming, database, SQL. You'll be given total 140 minutes of time. They'll give you 5 to 6 questions, and here the type of questions will be a case study. So if you have attended Gen Z Next process of exam, so if you have attended Gen Z Next exam, so for you it will be easy to crack for Gen Z Elevate, because whatever the pattern which you have followed for the Gen Z Next, the same pattern will be followed for the Gen Z Elevate. So what is the difference between Gen Z Next and Gen Z Elevate is both are for the good programmers, but then the roles for both the profiles are different. So if you are really interested to get a role which is under the profile of Gen Z Elevate, you need to get well prepared with these topics. So that is under the skill-based assessment. Let us see under the aptitude, that is for Gen Z profile, how it goes. So you will be having quantitative question, logical question, code debugging and essay question. Altogether, you will be given 1 hour 45 minutes to complete the aptitude test. So if you are done with the aptitude test, then you are good to go with the technical and HR. So if you are clearing skill-based test, you will be sent for the technical and HR, which will be under the profile of Gen Z Elevate. If you are clearing aptitude test, then you will be sent for the technical and HR round, which will be under the profile of the Gen Z. So both the roles are different. You have to apply either with Gen Z or with the Gen Z Elevate. You cannot apply for both the profiles at once. So coming to the interview round, that is technical and HR interview. So under the technical interviews, you can note down some of the important questions which need to be understand while going to an interview. So each and every student, when you are attending an interview, you need to know the basics of your core subjects. You need to do good with your self introduction. You need to have a sound knowledge on what projects you have done and what internship you have taken. And also, it is better for you to take mock interviews before going to an interview. For example, there are so many platforms where students will share their experience. By seeing their experience, it will be easy for you to crack an interview with Gen Z or Gen Z Elevate. Thank you and all the best.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.